Okay, I think we are live. And we are live. And so far, I want to make sure that I keep the chat out here where I can see it. So I'm just sort of rearranging my screen to make sure that even though I have 8 or 7 or a bunch of apps open, I can still see you guys and see your chat, no matter which thing I switch to. I don't want that. So we've got some folks. We'll wait and let some folks come in. And we will publish in announcements. No, I don't want test student. At students. YouTube. Check it out at, and let me float you guys the link on Discord. I've got a lot of apps open here. That may do some very interesting things to my computer. But hey, no pain, no gain. What I need is background music, and that's not going to happen. So we'll start off, I'll tell you a little bit about me. My name is Loy. It's L-O-Y. And people ask me frequently. So it's the first word in the name of an African peace festival. And yes, I was born in the 60s. And my mother heard it and thought it was cool. So that's it. It's not short for anything. It's not a nickname. My name is Loy. And I work here at the Learning Center. I'm a tutor. I tutor math, some of the sciences. I tutor a little bit of ASL. I tutor computer science. That's what my original degree is in computer science. And I tutor a lot of study skills. So things like note-taking, time management, and what kind of learner you are, and how you can study in a way that is more effective. One of the interesting things that happens when I work with students is I'll work with somebody who's studying a lot of hours. And, study, lots of hours, but not having necessarily the success that they want to have. And we'll kind of talk about different ways that you study. How are you studying? Are you using flashcards? Are you rereading your textbook? Are you making notes in the margin? Are you talking over the things that you've learned with somebody else? Are you doing any kind of, what we call peer-to-peer learning? So you're kind of working with other people. Are you trying to maybe explain what you're learning to somebody else? So, if I learn a new language, new technology, if I can turn around and explain it to my husband or to my kids, then I feel like I understand it better, because I've had to go through the process not only of understanding it myself, but trying to put it in words that hopefully make sense for other people. And so that's a good way to learn things. So there's all kinds of ways, basically, that you can learn. Learning is not necessarily sitting in a seat, watching an expert who's out there talking about things and taking notes. That is one form of learning, and it's a perfectly valid form of learning, but it's not the only form of learning. And I have a lot of conversations with students, and we kind of break it down and break down those ideas that whatever you were experiencing in K through 12, most of us went through the American public school system. That's not it. That's not the only kind of learning that there is. And one of the first things that we have to do is break that down and come across, okay, did you watch something on the History Channel the other night? Yeah. Did you learn something new? Yeah. Can you explain it to me? Yeah. Guess what? You learned something. And it was a TV program, and it's okay to learn from different mediums, and especially in the environment that we find ourselves in now, where many of us are online. I mean, our learning looks very different than 30 kids crammed in a classroom with an instructor. And so how do we adapt to that? And there's different ways that we can adapt to that. There's some adaptation that we have to do, and there's some thinking that we have to change. Some of our old ideas about how we learn and why we learn and where we learn, all of these things have to kind of change and evolve with the time. So if you're joining us, say hi in the chat. I've got the chat open, and I'm going to take questions. I'm certainly, I welcome interruptions if you have questions. We're just kind of having a conversation here. It's not a class. This is not I'm going to lecture and you're going to take notes. This is a conversation. And so there is a bit of a delay. If you have never been on a YouTube live chat before, you will type something and I won't see it for a little while. And then I'll respond, and even that response will be slightly delayed. But I will watch the chat for any questions. And that's how we're going to do it today. We're just going to chill. I've got a cup of coffee. Go grab your favorite beverage, little snack. Say hi in the chat. And we'll keep it rolling. Okay. So I do have some things that I want to talk about today. And like I said, we're just having a conversation. So let's have a conversation. Starting with Zoom. Let's start with Zoom. And I'm going to roll up a new Zoom meeting, which is going to be real interesting because I'm already in YouTube Live. And so Zoom is not going to find my video very well. All right, but let's talk about Zoom. And in Zoom, we have these things called meeting IDs, and they have little numbers on them. And those meeting IDs form Zoom links. And so when you join a Zoom meeting, you're joining that numerical link. Some meetings require a password. Some don't. Depends on the instructor. They can kind of do it how they want to do it. That's okay. And then some of the instructors will have repeating meetings. So they'll have their meeting set up so that it happens every, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 1 o'clock or whatever time your class happens to be. And for other professors, they will have they'll use their plain old Zoom ID and just have you pop in. Some professors will have a waiting room, and if you come in and you see the waiting room, the instructor will let you in shortly. We've had some interesting things happen this week. I've been joining a bunch of Zoom classes this week, and Zoom in the first week of classes on any given semester, it lags a bit. So it's a little bit slow. And that's just the number of students who are all trying to get into this course for the very first time, and weird things happen, and it's a little bit of a delay, and we all sort of work through that. And I noticed myself that my anxiety kind of goes up if I can't get into the Zoom meeting right away. You know, if I click on the button and it doesn't go in right away, I start to get anxious, like, am I going to miss something? And over time, what I've come to realize is that we're all just kind of slugging through it. And that includes your instructor and all of your fellow students. So we're doing the best we can. And you know what? That's okay. We'll get in there. And eventually I do get in the meeting, and I have never missed anything really, really important in the meeting that I haven't been able to have somebody go over with me later. So it's okay. You know, it works. We're good. So when you're joining a meeting, there's a couple of things that I want to point out on the bottom left of the screen here. And you may have figured these out already. You've got a microphone down there and you've got a video down there, and they've each got a little red slash through them on mine. And that means that my microphone is off and my video is off as far as Zoom is concerned. Obviously, I'm still speaking to you in YouTube Live. But as far as Zoom is concerned, those things are off. And that's how to make sure that you don't accidentally broadcast yourself doing something embarrassing. Those videos went around, last March. It's getting to be a year old. My kids would say, oh, that's old stuff, Mom. But it still does happen where we broadcast where we don't think we're broadcasting. So just watch for that little red slash. If that red slash is on there, you are safe. Nobody is watching or hearing what you're doing. I get an even more interesting thing that happens with me because I use earbuds. These the earbuds. And my earbuds have a microphone on them. So I can literally get up, walk in my kitchen, pour myself a glass of milk, and come all the way back and never leave the meeting. I can hear the meeting in the microphone. I can talk to people in the meeting. I've gotten up and I've left the video screen. But I can still be part of the meeting, which means also that everybody in the meeting can hear what I'm doing in the kitchen. And so I am very careful to watch those little icons there. One of the more interesting things that people want to do with the video is to hide their background. I have my background hidden most of the time because my Zoom area is my craft room. And I've got, 5 sewing machines and 2 sergers. There's a 3D printer. There's a couple of big sewing dummies. There's like stacks and stacks and stacks of fabric and buttons. And it's just, it's organized for me. But if you're looking at it, it's a mess. So I will click on this little caret next to the start video, and I'll choose a virtual background. And in virtual backgrounds, you got a couple of different options that Zoom puts for you automatically. So there's like the San Francisco Bridge, Golden Gate Bridge, just some grass. There's some other interesting videos that Zoom puts in there for you, but you can also load your own, which I think is really cool. So if I hit this plus sign over here, right there, and I will choose to add an image or a video. Now, I work on a laptop, and my laptop can get overloaded if I try and use a video background. So I'm always sticking with an image, but I can use any image I want. And I'll just roll to, let's go to my downloads folder. And I've got a few interesting backgrounds in here. How about the set for Boy with Love? There you go. And so I can add that into my background video choices, and that will become the background when I open Zoom. Let's see if I can, just for giggles. Let's see if I can insert that background onto my YouTube presentation, because that's kind of cool. Let's put the Boy with Love set in here. And go there. Go here. And next. And yeah, I can do that. Look at that. So now I and my Zoom presentation are all on the set of Boy with Love. You don't have to have a green screen to do this. I happen to have a green screen, so I have the box checked. And honestly, you don't have to have a big fancy green screen. You can use a green sheet. You go to Walmart, you pick up a flat sheet at Walmart, and that will work for you as a video background. It works just fine. So if you're just joining us, I see there's some folks joining us. Say hi in the chat. Let me know what you'd like to talk about. We've been talking about Zoom here a little bit. Let's talk about sharing your screen in Zoom. Because that's kind of, well, not kind of, that is very important. So when I want to share a screen in Zoom, some students don't like to share their entire computer. That's fair. You know, my computer's a bit of a mess at times. I don't want you to see it. That's fine. So I have screen 1 and screen 2 are the two monitors that are on my computer because I have 2 monitors set up. But I can also share a specific software package. So for example, here's the window where I'm live streaming to YouTube. Here's that background. I can share with you a blank Google page. I can share with you the contents of my downloads folder. You don't want to see that. That's a mess. Let's share this Google Chrome. So if I share this particular Google Chrome tab, that means that the other people on the call are going to see what's in that Google Chrome tab. And they're not going to see anything else on my computer. They're just going to see that. So if I want to share, let's say, a paper that I've written with my writing class or my reading class, I can share just that paper and not everything on my computer. So that's kind of handy. And the other thing that I like to point out on this window is this little button down here, share computer sound. You have to check this on if you're going to share like a video or audio of any kind. You have to click that on. Otherwise, people cannot hear what's going on your computer. Just the way it is. All right. And then if I were to click share on that in Zoom, I am now screen sharing just the Google screen. Okay. And I'm going to stop share. And that's a lot of what there is to do in Zoom. Most people have figured out the chat window, which pops up on the side, and you can type messages to people. Let's move that up here where you can see it so it's not behind my head. And I can type, hi to everybody in the chat, and there it is up top in the chat. So if your instructor is talking and you don't want to interrupt, or you don't want to put your microphone on or your video on, or you just don't want to be that intrusive, you can always type your questions in the chat. Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that part about fractions? Okay, that's a fair question, right? And you can put it in the chat, and the instructor should be watching the chat and should be able to say, oh, okay, somebody didn't get that part about fractions. Let's talk about that again. Let me make that a little bit more clear. Let me speak more clearly, and just explain it. Side note, my daughter this morning, she's making coffee cake muffins. She made them. They're right over there. They look good. But she's making coffee cake muffins, and she explained that to me. And then my husband came down, and he says, what you making? And she says, coffee cake muffins. But the way she said it sounded like cupcake muffins. And my husband looked at her funny, and I went, she said coffee cake muffins. Oh, okay. That happens in Zoom, too. It happens in Zoom a lot. So don't be afraid to ask your instructor to repeat something. If you need it repeated, it's not that they're a bad instructor or that you're a bad listener. Sometimes it's just a connection thing. I lost my connection. Can you repeat that part? It's okay. We can do that. It's a whole different world. All right. So that's a little bit about Zoom. I'm going to end that meeting. And Zoom is saving the chat for me because I have it set to do that. Okay. So that was a little bit about Zoom. Almost every class in GCC is currently on Zoom. And one of the reasons that we're on Zoom is because we can do captioning. So if you happen to be listening to your instructor or reviewing the class, and let's say you're in a room with lots of other people, or you happen to be, I don't know, on your way to work, or you happen to be somewhere where just it's not a good environment that's conducive to listening, you can put captions on. And then you can watch the class without having to listen to it and still understand what's going on. So a lot of our classes are in Zoom, and that's why they're in Zoom. All right. I see we have some folks joining us. Say hi. Say hi in the chat. Okay. I'm also going to encourage you guys, if you're here and you have not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. Okay, there's a little subscribe button. Little subscribe button somewhere below this video where you can subscribe to the Learning Center's YouTube, and we put up videos. Most of them are a little bit more formal than what I'm doing right now. Like right now, we're just kind of having a coffee chat. But many of our videos are really, really highly focused, quick 5-minute videos about a particular topic. One of them this morning, I think, was put up was about what you can expect in a tutoring session and how to maximize the value of your tutoring session. So make yourself more efficient so that you can learn more faster. But we post those videos as we make them. I have on deck, I've got a few videos that I'm going to be making shortly about how to interact with Blackboard and submitting assignments and recording videos so that you can submit them to your professor, and how to use Google Suite to work together with other students on assignments. So those are some of the things that I have on my deck that I'm going to be talking about. Let's talk about email. And again, if you're joining us, say hi in the chat. Let me know how many classes you're taking this semester. Kind of curious. You guys at full load, or are you part-time this semester? You know, some students have dropped down to part-time, so other students are still trying to barrel through 12 credits, 15 credits, 17 credits, kind of nuts, but hey, if you can do it, more power to you. All right, let's talk about college email. College email is basically Gmail. So if I go to genesee.edu and I click on the college mail, what I'm going through to is not necessarily, it's probably going to give me an error. But it's not exactly Gmail, but it is provided by Gmail. So it's college email. Well, this is going to be interesting. Let's see what happens. It's college email, but it is provided by Gmail. So if you go straight to Gmail and you try and log in, it's not going to work. But if you go through the college link and you log in that way, and now I have a Gmail mailbox. All right, so let's talk a little bit about email. It is provided by Gmail. If you've ever used Gmail before, this is all should be very similar. You've got a compose button to start new email. You've got an inbox here, which my inbox is empty. And it works pretty much the way that you're accustomed to working with email. Let's talk about how to find your professor's email, because that's one of the things that students ask is, how do I find my professor's email? And there's a couple of ways that we can do that. One is to look up and see if you can find your professor by using the search button on GCC's website. So we're going to pick on Phil Pickering. we're going to see if we can find him on the college website. Oh, we can't find him on the website. Oh, that's terrible. All right, so there's an example if we couldn't find him on the website. Let's try somebody that I know is on the website. Can't think. Well, my mind's going blank. You're just going to have to forgive me on this part. But you can search and see if your professor is on the website. Some of them are, some of them are not. If they are not, we can go into my GCC, which is this link here. That should take us through to Blackboard. And we log in with your net ID and password. And here we are, and we can look under the student tab, which is the one that should come up for you automatically. And if you look down here at the courses, and I open up one of these courses, and I'm going to pick on this course that I'm enrolled in. Okay. So there's a Start Here page, and the Start Here page should almost always include the faculty member who is teaching your class, and here's their email address. Sometimes, if you look over on the left-hand side, there'll be a little email link over there, and I can click on that link to go directly to Gmail, and it'll automatically start an email with their name on it and their email address on it so that I can send them a message. But somewhere in your course content, and usually right on that home page, should be your faculty member's email address. Right there. Excuse me. So that's how we find it. And then when we're writing an email to our professor, so what was her email address? There it is. Choose this person here. We'll pick on Judy. And now I'm sending an email to Judy. And the subject line of your email is kind of important. You have to remember that your professor probably has 200, 300, maybe 800 other students. Some of our professors are teaching at multiple colleges, not just GCC, and they get an email from you. They may not even know what college you're from. So in your subject line, it's always really helpful to say, what's the course name? Course Accessibility Starts, because that's the name of my course. If I'm in a math course, I can use the math course number. So say, I'm in statistics. That's Math 129. Math 129, section 05, right? So try and put that in the subject line. It's just going to make it so much easier for your instructor, and they can figure out who you are and what you're talking about and get you an answer more quickly, which is what you want, right? If you want an answer quickly, you need to make it as easy as possible for them to answer you. And so then you'll say, dear Ms. College email is not the place for, hey, dude. Okay? We're starting to emulate some working world norms. And in the working world, you do not send a message to your boss that says, hey, dude. At least not until you know them well. So you should be addressing your professor as dear Mr. or Ms. or prof or, instructor. You can use any of those terms that are comfortable for you, whatever's comfortable for you, but it should be respectful and professional. And then you'll ask your question. I didn't catch the last video. Can you repost or post or share a link, right? And in the body of the message, I'm going to again repeat the course number. This is for Math 129-05 last Wednesday. What was last Wednesday? Last Wednesday was, let's find out. Last Wednesday was the 20th. So I'm being as specific as I possibly can with this instructor, just to make sure that they don't have to spend a lot of time looking up the details so that they can answer me quickly. Okay, and then I click send it off. That's how to send an email to your professor. Believe it or not, that's a big question, and I hope we got that answered for you. Okay. So if you're just joining us, again, we've got a chat running. You should be able to type in the chat. It is live. It is a little bit delayed. But if you ask questions in the chat, I will join you there. And I want to talk to you a little bit about Blackboard. Let's talk about Blackboard. We logged into Blackboard just a minute ago, and I kind of breezed through it a little bit. But at GCC, you have your net ID and password. Let's go ahead and log out. Okay. So this is what we call the web portal, or My GCC, and here you log in. You have a My GCC username, you have a net ID. It's the same thing. As a matter of fact, you're going to use your GCC net ID and username for almost everything you do at GCC. You use it for Blackboard, you use it for your email, you use it for TutorTrack, you use it for the library system, I believe. Okay, it's all the same username and password. And so when you log in, IT should have sent you a username and password. Frequently, they will send it to a personal email address. And once you've got it in, your computer should remember it. Now, what happens if you forget your password? Let's talk about that for a little minute. I'm going to go back to this student page. Okay. On the student page, there's a lot of quick links. There's a lot of information here. Here's my courses. There's an access my email link. If I come in here, I can go through here to get that. But over here, up here at the top, there's a bunch of categories of things. And one of those categories is my account. And if I go to my account, you notice that the quick links are the same. Okay. But here's the forgot your password link. Yay, I forgot my password. You know, my computer has it memorized. Great. But now I want to log in on a different computer or on my phone or what have you, and I've forgotten what it is. This link cannot tell you what your password is. Nobody can tell you what your password is. Even our IT department can't tell you what your password is. But this will let you reset your password to something that hopefully you remember. You can also change your password. At GCC, you are required to change your password after a certain number of months. I forget how many it is, but most students will hit that like once. You have to update your password. And this is a way that you update your password. And this is like resetting your password on, any other computer system that you've ever been on. If you've ever reset your password at Facebook or Google or Twitter or any of those, if you know your password, sign in. If you forgot your password here, or how to set up a new password. And you click on those links and you kind of follow along what it says. There's an interesting CAPTCHA that happens on the forgot password page, where it gives you a picture of squiggly text and says type that text. And sometimes that works nice, and sometimes you have to do it a couple of times. If you have to do it a couple of times, don't panic, just keep working through it. And if you get really stuck, you can ask somebody. We've got some help support. We've got IT support. And you can also ask us at the tutoring center, and we can help you at the tutoring center. Okay, so here's different technical problems. What do I do when my technology doesn't work besides have a heart attack? We relax, realize that everybody's in the same boat. And we come over here to our help desk. Okay. So Blackboard is Oh, Blackboard is this huge, huge, monstrously big program. And what's in Blackboard? Your courses are in Blackboard. So as we look, my courses, and you can see I've been enrolled in a number of courses here, some of them in the past, and so that's why it says this course is not currently available. It's because I already took that course. I don't get to go and open it again. You can see I've got a couple courses that I am currently enrolled in. And accessibility stars, I like to pick on this particular course because it's an example of exactly what a course should look like. It's got a big header. It tells me I'm in accessibility stars. There's a lovely start here page. The start here page says meet your instructor. This is how the course works, right? My instructor is telling me this is how to navigate the modules. You're going to go to different modules. Okay, where are the modules? Oh, look over here on the left-hand side under course content. It says the STAR modules. That's where they are. And typically there'll be a syllabus in here. There is not in this particular course. This one doesn't have a syllabus, but they do have a getting started that explains what they're expecting from the course, and new to online explains, if you're new for an online student, there's an online orientation that covers a lot of the things that I'm talking about in a little bit more formal way, a little bit less of a coffee chat and more of a, person talking to, with the expert, this, and you should be taking notes. Well, let's look at what a Blackboard course looks like. So here's a typical module, Introduction to Accessibility. And I'm just going to open that and say, wow, there's a lot of pages in here. Oh my. In some sense, though, that's kind of nice because given there's a lot of pages, that means that each page is short. Okay, so I'll be reading this. Okay, I got it. This is what I'm doing. Go to the next page. The next page is a 3-minute video. Okay, cool. I can watch the video. One of the odd things that we're finding with online learning and students who are especially new to online learning is they're forgetting to take notes when it's a video. You're kind of watching it like it's TV. You're like, this is not Netflix. This is your class. And so you should be taking notes. Well, one of the beautiful things about video is that I can pause the video, I can take my notes, and then I can start the video again. And I can even back it up a little bit if I missed a couple of words. Oh, that's so awesome. Okay, because I can learn what's in this video at whatever speed I like. If there's some topic they're talking about, oh, okay, I've seen that before. I can run through that at double speed. But if there's a topic that I haven't seen before, I am pausing that video like every 30 seconds to write notes. And I do write notes. I take detailed notes on my classes that I'm taking online. And I am actually taking classes online as a graduate student, which is all online. So I'm in the same boat you guys are, learning the stuff online, and it's very different. It's a little bit less personable, and it's kind of easy to get put off. But once you dig into it and start to understand that there is a real person at the other end of that course, and that they have set all this up for you, and that they're there to help you, it gets a little bit easier. And I hope that you do reach out to your instructor, reach out to our tutors, reach out to our support staff if you are feeling isolated or feeling unwelcome or feeling that this is more than you know how to handle. Okay. We actually have a seminar that we offer in the Learning Center called When a Course Becomes Difficult. And one of the first things we say is contact your instructor and contact your tutors and contact your advisor, and don't go it alone, and don't give up, and keep working through it, because it does get easier. I am discouraged to see some students who will give up, because we're here to help you. That's our entire job. Oh, let's talk about Blackboard a little bit more. In Blackboard, there are grades. I have grades in the course. I'm about to share them with you. Woohoo! Look at, I got mostly hundreds. Mostly. Not doing too bad. Okay. But you can kind of look in here and see, what grades you did get. You can look and see what's upcoming. If a test or an assignment has a specific due date, you'll see it there. Okay, so this is a good place to go. It's going under grades to see what assignments are due and at what time. This particular class is self-paced, so there are no deadlines. But if your course has deadlines, if your assignments have deadlines, they'll be there. And you can take a look and you can see, I can list them by due date. Let's list the oldest due date first. Okay, and if I have activities that I have not yet done and I need to do them, those will pop to the top. So I can see exactly what it is that I have to work on for this course and when it is due. One of the things that we like to recommend at the Learning Center is that whatever organization system you use to organize your life, that you include the due dates of your assignments. So if you have a calendar on the wall in the kitchen, then just pencil your assignments in on the date they're due. If you use an online calendar, put those assignment due dates in on that date. If you use something fancier like Trello or Asana or any one of those sort of life organizer apps, I mean, do this. Put your due dates in there because otherwise you're going to forget them. And that's not good for anybody. So that's a little bit about Blackboard and how it works. All of the Blackboard courses will look the same as far as there's a menu bar over here on the left, with all the major sections of the course there. And then the content pops up in this big white area. And all of our courses look the same as far as that. The actual menu on the left may be a little bit different. For example, some courses have discussion boards. Some classes don't have discussion boards. Some classes, you'll be allowed to message your instructor directly from here. Other courses, the instructor wants you to email them. And that information should be up here in the Start Here area of your course. The instructor should let you know, well, this is how I prefer you to contact me. Frequently, that information is in your syllabus. So your syllabus is a really, really good tool at the beginning of the semester. Download it, stick it in a folder on your computer or on your phone where you're going to be able to find it and review it and bring it up later. The syllabus, a lot of the questions that students ask us can be answered on the syllabus. A lot of the questions that students have of their instructor can be answered on the syllabus. Also, over here on the left-hand side, if your instructor has office hours, they'll typically be in there. Okay, so like these two instructors have office locations, they don't have their office hours posted. And that's probably because they're available, their schedules are a little bit more random than most faculty, but most faculty should have their office hours posted. And during their office hours, your faculty, you will find them sitting in Zoom with the Zoom window open, and they're typically, a lot of them will take that time to grade papers and read new research and just do different things while they're waiting for students to show up. So, you should never feel like going to your professor's office hour is putting them out. Okay, you should always feel welcome to go into that office hour and say, hey, I'm here, I'd like to talk. Even if it's just, let's sit down and have a cup of coffee and talk about how the class is going. Or, you can talk about your orange cat. Okay? Your professor is frequently happy to have some additional interaction with the student. So, by all means, feel welcome. Go to those office hours. Get some extra help. If you're not getting a grade that you think you should, ask your instructor, what can I do to improve? That's like an instructor's favorite question. It really is. What can I do to improve? And every time you ask it, you might get a little different answer. So what can I do to improve? Well, you need to put more sources in your papers and more evidence. Okay. The next assignment, I do that. Then I come back to the instructor. So what can I do to improve? Oh, so I notice that you've done sources now. So what would be nice is if you found more opinions that don't exactly match yours, and try and integrate their ideas into your paper and explain, compare and contrast differences. Oh, okay. So in the next paper, I go and do that, and then I go back to the instructor. Okay, how can I improve? And so that's a really great question. Always ask your instructor, what can I do to improve? And they should always be able to give you something that you can do to improve. If they come to you and they say, you're a wonderful student, well, you're doing something right. Keep it up. So what have we talked about? We talked about Zoom and some of the settings there. We've talked a little bit about college email. We've talked a lot about Blackboard. Blackboard is where all your courses are. Let's talk about tutoring a little bit. So tutoring at GCC is free for all students. It's just something that is offered for all students. And a typical tutoring student is a solid B student. We don't just get struggling students. We get all kinds of students. Okay. And I have to log in a couple of times here. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm pretending to be a student here, and where I've gone to is TutorTrack, tutortrack.genesee.edu. And this is TutorTrack. On the home page, it tells me some things that are coming up. So, for example, we've got an open house through the Learning Center is pretty much every day this week, which is an open drop-in Zoom. Managing college communications, that's what we're doing right now. And regular tutoring begins next week. So you can start to get an appointment with the next week. And how do I find a tutor? Well, there's this button on the left, search availability. And when I search availability, you may or may not get the option of choosing the online tutoring or workshops. I'll choose online tutoring. And what class do I want help with? Now, there are some generic sort of study skills, success skills in here that you can choose from. When you're a registered student, your classes will also show up here. So if I'm taking, for example, a math class, if I'm taking Math 091, Math 091 will show up as one of the things that I need help with in this list. So if I need help with a specific class, I can click on that. Let's say it's not specific class. Let's say I need help with note-taking and memorizing. I'm having trouble remembering things. So I will select that item, and you automatically get a span of about 2 weeks upcoming. And when I click on search, here are all of the tutors and all of the workshops coming up that match what I've said I need help with. So there's Managing College Communication. Is this one right now? I've got a couple appointments later this afternoon. That's me. There's the open house in the Learning Center I can drop in. Here's Ryan. Ryan can help me with success skills. KT, Kira, Mele, Melissa, Jared. Okay, so all kinds of tutors who can help you with an issue. And you're welcome to sort of pair up with a tutor and set up a weekly appointment with them. You're welcome to bounce from tutor to tutor to tutor, just whoever happens to be available next and is available quickest. That is entirely up to you. You can see we have tutoring appointments going on in the future, and more tutors start popping in. Nope, Michael starts next week. So we have lots of tutors that can help you with various skills that you need. And if you pick, let's choose writing help here. And I should get a slightly different list of tutors, and I do. Here's KT and Melly again, but now Sharon pops up because Sharon is a writing tutor. And she doesn't necessarily pop up for the other subject. So when you select a subject, you're going to get help from those tutors who are best suited to help you with those needs. And then I would just pick a time and say, okay, yeah, I want this appointment, and save it. And a new thing on TutorTrack, we can even sign up for a text messaging reminder. So you can get a little text message. I believe it's 15 minutes before your appointment, but don't quote me on that. And TutorTrack will send you a little text message that says, hey, you've got a tutoring appointment coming up. So that's kind of cool. You notice most of your appointments are about a half hour long. Some of them are 45 minutes. It depends on what you're looking for, what subject you're looking for tutoring in. Right? And that's how to get tutoring through TutorTrack. So again, if you're just joining us, please feel free to say hi in the chat. So, and tell us a little bit about yourself if you like. Is this your first course at GCC? Is it, are you a repeat student? Have you been here before? Or are you brand new to this whole online learning thing and it's a little crazy? Or some of both. I'm a repeat student at GCC, but the online thing is a little bit new for me. So what we've talked about so far, we've talked a little bit about Zoom. Okay. We have talked about how to hide our messy houses in Zoom. We've talked about email and how to find your professor's email and how to get into the email and send a proper email message. We've talked a little bit about Zoom. A little bit about Blackboard. Blackboard is the big area at GCC where most of your course content is. It's where you find your professors. It's where you find your syllabi. It's where you find your grades. All of those kinds of things. And we talked about what to do if you've forgotten your password. And we've talked a little bit about TutorTrack. And now I want to talk to you a little bit about something called Discord. I'm going to make it bigger. So this is Discord. Okay, and if you are a gaming person, you may have seen Discord before because online gamers tend to use it to coordinate. Let's say you're playing, Minecraft, and you're on a server together with some friends, and you want to talk to each other while you are playing this game, and you're in your house and they're in their house, and everybody's playing on a shared server, but you want to have a conversation. Discord is a way that you can do that, and gamers have been using it for some time to do those things. So this is the GCC student Discord. So let's talk a little bit about how Discord is structured. And in Discord, there are servers. And over on the left-hand side, these are some of the servers that I'm signed up for. I'm signed up with the Student Center server, one for Learning Center, one for Math. These are some of my fandom Discord servers. I read a webcomic called Lore Olympus on Webtoons, which I highly recommend. It's pretty awesome. This is a Discord server for Lore Olympus. This is a Discord server for my favorite band. This is a Discord server that I follow because I'm learning Korean. Okay, so all kinds of Discord servers exist out there, and they typically have a subject or a topic that they are coordinated around. Our GCC student Discord is here. You can find the link for it, by the way. The link for the student Discord is on TutorTrack. It's all over TutorTrack on the outside pages and the welcome pages. There is a link how to get to the GCC student Discord. And when you follow that link, if you already have a Discord account, you're going to drop right in. If you don't have an account, it's going to prompt you to create an account. It's free. You just need an email address. You set up a password and confirm the account. They call it claiming the account. So you claim the account through Discord. And then you're going to drop into our server. And when you drop into our server, you're going to drop into our server as a guest. And so I'm going to go here real quickly and show you what that looks like if you are a guest. So I will say I am there. I am everyone. So when I first get in the server, you notice there's not a lot of content. Over here on the left-hand side, these are the channels, different channels that I can interact in. Read Me First, which has the rules of the server in it. There's some announcements. There's some help, how to use Discord. A lot of information about how to use Discord is in here. Okay. There's also a help desk where I can ask questions. So if you're having trouble with Discord, you can throw a question in there. But I don't see a whole lot of information on the server when I first come in. But if you go to the Read Me First, and it sort of gives you the rules of engagement. These are the rules that we expect you to follow when you're on the server, and basically be polite, behave yourself. And you have to click on this little green check mark. And you click on that little green check mark to agree to the rules of the server. And when that happens, you'll be upgraded from an everyone to a guest. Hello. I'm viewing the server as everyone. I'm viewing the server as guest. It's not letting me do that. It should let me do that. I may have overstretched my computer. Oh, there it is, guest. Okay. All right, so this is what Discord looks like when you're a guest, once you agree to the rules of the server. Now there's a few other areas here that I can look at. I can look at the student area. Okay, and this common area here is the tutoring area. So I can ask general questions about the server. And I can see when the tutoring center opens and closes. That's in there. There's technical questions. If my Discord is not working, or if my Zoom, I'm having trouble with Zoom, and can I get some help on that? You can ask questions about math, science. We have computer science classes, so you can ask questions about coding questions. Writing help is in here if you need writing help. And all other subjects are in a category called other subjects. If we get a whole bevy of, psych students who decide to come in and start having all kinds of questions and asking and collaborating about psych, then we'll make an area for that. But so far, these are the areas that we've broken out. And then there's also this area called the bridge. And the bridge is just sort of an area where you can post funny memes. And a lot of the Bernie Sanders memes have made it in here lately. But all kinds of funny things. You can talk about games you like to play. We played Whamageddon in December in the bridge area, which, if you've never played Whamageddon, is a funny little game about what sort of media you're listening to. But you'll notice what happens as now I'm a guest and I cannot post. I can read all of these things, but I can't post. Okay, so how do I get permission to actively participate in this server? Well, let's go back to that Read Me First. So I said you had to agree to the rules, and you did agree to the rules. And then after that, to be able to send messages, somebody has to give you student access. So you have to contact one of our admins. That's Chelsea, me, or Kira. Melissa is also an admin at this point. We have to update that, I see. But you're going to send us your college email or your student ID number. And you're going to click on their name. So I click on Chelsea here, and I'm going to just right here in the message box, message Chelsea with my email address or my GCC ID number. And what Chelsea's going to do is give me student access. So let's now go and say that Chelsea has done that, and I now have student access. Yay. This is what I see as a student. One of the things that happens in the common area, I can now ask questions. So instead of no, you can't do that down here, now there's the ability to type. So I can type my questions in here, and I can interact with other students in this common area. One of the other things that happens is you get access to what we call the small group rooms. And the small group rooms are places where you can meet up with other students. So if you're missing that sort of group study thing that used to happen, I mean, it used to happen on the bridge over the forum, or in the cafeteria, or the student union, or maybe down at the dorms, and you're missing that opportunity to sit and study with other students, this is that place. This is that place right here. And you can pick one of the 5 rooms. They're all synonyms. I can say that word, really. Synonyms of cougar. Well, one of them is cougar. The other are all synonyms of cougar. And all the text channels are here, and each text channel has its own voice channel. So I can pop into, say, for example, Bobcat Voice. Okay. And I am now in an audio channel on Discord where I can hear other people talking. Okay, so you can do that. Some of our English language learners are popping into these channels just to have conversations. And I can also turn on my camera if I want. I'm going to leave that off at this point. But I get to choose the level of sort of intrusion into my personal space. So if I just want to text, we can have just a text get together of students. If I would like to have an audio only, but I don't want to put my face on video, I could do that. Okay. Or if I want to go ahead and turn on my camera, I can do that. Or I can share my screen. I could do that. Okay. And the difference between this and Zoom, nobody has to host. Nobody has to be that Zoom host that is responsible for, putting it all together and making sure there's space and so on and so forth. You just pop in here into the Discord, pick a small group room, go in the small group room, meet up with your students, with your fellow students, and just start talking about, what's going on in your class. So that's all set up here for you. You can also message a tutor. So let's say you're in one of the small group rooms and you're kind of working on, physics. You're working on a physics problem with your fellow students and you get a little bit stuck. Well, you can pop over here and I can look at, let's say, Melee here. I can see she's a writing tutor. Yeah, that's probably not what I want. Let's try Mike. Mike is a math tutor. Ryan is a math tutor. Oh, physics tutor. Oh, look, Loy's a physics tutor. Loy can probably help me. So you can ask Loy to drop into the small group room with your fellow students. And we can all kind of chat about what's going on and get you over that little hump and on your way. So that's the GCC Student Discord. It is fairly new. We've had an average of about 5 students signing on per day this week. We had about 30 students on last semester as part of a pilot program. And now we have more students coming in. We have professors, and you can see Nikki, the awesome librarian, is here. She's changed her profile picture. It used to be a picture of Conan in the library, which I thought was pretty awesome. And that's our student Discord. So it's a good place to hang out. I like to hang out in Discord. I hang out there a lot. We have a music player in here. You'll see me from time to time hanging out in one of the voice rooms. And if you see me hanging out in one of the voice rooms, I'm probably over there. I'm either listening to video game music or K-pop. And I'm listening to the music, and you are more than welcome to just pop in, listen to the music with me, ask questions, chat about your day. We kind of hang out. One of these days I want to have a Friday happy hour on Zoom. That would be fun, I think. Not Zoom. happy hour on Discord. Zoom is just sort of really, really formal to me. I don't know why, but whenever I get in Zoom, I get this sense that this is serious. And when I go into Discord, I get the sense of, oh, okay, yeah, we're just relaxing, we're kind of hanging out, we're having a conversation, and it's just more of a what's the word I'm looking for? More casual. There's the word I'm looking for. Discord is more casual, I think. I kind of like it that way a little bit better. But anyway, we've got a lot of stuff going on in Discord. There's an open question right now, our Thursday question for students and staff. What tool, technique, or person is helping you to be a better student in this environment? Tell us about it. And so I'm going to post there in a little while. I've just recently discovered an online tool called Anki, which is a flashcard program that I thought was pretty neat. It's a little bit more robust than like a Quizlet or a Kahoot, and I'm finding it super useful. So I'm going to post that in there. Doesn't mean everybody has to use it, but we sort of post, here are some things that help us, and you can give those things a try and see if they help you, and maybe they do. That's pretty cool. And maybe they don't, because your brain works differently than somebody else's, and that's okay too. Everybody's brain works a little bit differently. Everybody learns a little bit differently, and it's one of the things that is sort of core to our philosophy here at the tutoring department in the Learning Center, that no two people learn the same way, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. That's normal. And we like to talk to you and sort of suss out what way your brain works, what works best for you. For some students, it is making flashcards. For some students, we find that, for some students, we find that they don't really react well to writing notes and making flashcards and highlighting their textbook and all those things that we typically tell students to do. Some students learn better by having coffee conversations, sitting down with a cup of coffee, and let's talk about this last class that we had. What did you get out of the class? How did you understand it? Can you explain it in your own words? Okay, let me now explain it in my own words. And another person sitting at the table, okay, let's hear it in her own words, and let's hear it in his own words, and let's hear it in their own words. And everybody explaining the same topic in their own words produces a deeper and more layered understanding, so that you're going to have better knowledge of what actually was going on in that class, what the point of the class was. And also, the fact that you're having to retrieve knowledge to be able to speak about the knowledge is retrieval practice. It's practice learning, practice understanding. And it gives you a better, stronger memory, so that when the time comes and you have to take a test or an exam, or you have to actually use this knowledge in the real world, eventually you want to go and get a job in your field. If you've had, these kinds of conversations, you have a deeper understanding that help you to be a better, insert job description here, or insert job title here, as opposed to students who don't have those conversations. So some students, they really need to have that. And we are trying to put you together with similar students so that you can have those conversations and really deepen your understanding of the topic. So that's our Discord. And let's talk about what we've covered so far. If you're joining us, say hi in the chat. So we've talked about GCC. We've talked about the communications tools that GCC has officially on deck. We talked about Zoom, and we talked about your college email and how to manage that. We've talked a little bit about Blackboard. That's where you'll find all of your course content. And we've talked about Tutor Track, where you're finding tutoring and meeting up with a tutor. We've talked about Discord, which is a place to meet up with your fellow students and get some information about your classes. And the only thing that's left on my list is talk a little bit about YouTube, which you're already here. So you've found the SUNY GCC Learning Center's YouTube channel. And if you subscribe to our channel, we put out videos periodically about topics that many students have issues with. Many students ask the same questions. You are not alone, and your question is not silly. Guarantee other students have had the same sort of issue on many of those questions. Here are some of the videos that are on my list of things to produce. I need to make a video on how to use PowerPoint, how to record your PowerPoint into a video so that you can upload it into Blackboard if your professor is asking you to do that for an assignment. I'm going to make a short 5 to 6 minute video of this is exactly how you do that. We're going to be talking about how to make a good PowerPoint presentation. Let's see. We want to make a video of how to sign up for Cengage. Oh, I have on my list of things to do to make a video of how you enter complex math formulas in your calculator properly. So using parentheses mostly. Making sure that you use parentheses so that you get the calculator to do the correct answer. And we're going to be using 2 of the calculators that GCC recommends. This is a TI-8384, TI-8384, and this one is the 30X2S. Those are the calculators that GCC recommends depending on what math class you're using or you're taking. So I'm going to be doing a whole class on just how to put the formulas into your calculators properly. You're doing a whole video on that, and that'll probably be a shorter video because there's a trick to it, and once you get the trick, you're on your way. How to transfer files from Google into Microsoft products. That's one of the things that we're going to talk about in upcoming weeks. How to create a group project in a Microsoft product. So let's say you're doing a group assignment and it's a PowerPoint or it's a Word document. How do you efficiently and effectively and in a fair way actually develop a group project in that Microsoft product? So we're going to do a couple of videos on that. And we're always open to other ideas. So you can always shoot ideas at us. Our email address at the Tutoring Center is tutoring@genesee.edu. And at the Tutoring Center, we're always open to ideas of videos that we can produce and topics that we can cover and different ways that we can reach out and meet your needs, whatever they may happen to be. So we'll be doing that. And that's pretty much what I had to talk to you about today. That's my downloads folder. You don't need that. It's a mess. I'm sure many folks, their downloads folder is a mess. So if you found this useful today, definitely subscribe to our channel. And, feel free to make a comment in the chat or send us an email. If you found it useful to kind of just sit and talk for a while. I'm always willing to do this. And we can arrange some kind of study lives where we study together or learn different software. So I'm going to close up. We have talked about a lot of things today. We've talked about the various ways that you can connect on campus, and the various types of software that we use. And if you have additional questions or you want to talk to somebody in the tutoring center, I showed you how to make an appointment by TutorTrack. I showed you how to get into the Discord and hang out with us. And you can send us an email at tutoring@genesee.edu. And any of those things, we're very happy to hear from you. That's what we do. We kind of hang out and wait for students to tell us, hi, I need you. So we're there and we're waiting for you to talk to us. So I hope to hear from you in the upcoming weeks. Don't wait until you are stuck on a course before you come and say hi. Say hi faster than that. And so I hope to see you in the Discord or in TutorTrack very soon. All right. So with that, I'll close off. Have a good day. Have a good semester. And I will see you soon.